Hi. So this video is to give you a little introduction to the piece of software we're going to be using this semester, Statistical Package for the Social Sciences, SPSS, as well as a data set that we're going to be working with a lot. So this data set is called the General Social Survey, or GSS for short. I know it's a lot of acronyms, but and it's a very well respected data set. It's got over 750 survey questions for almost 4,000 people. And they ask all kinds of questions about people's work life, their political life, their religion, their health, tons and tons of questions. And so it's used for a lot of social science research. It's done by, I think in part by the University of Chicago, and so that's why it's well respected in terms of their sampling and whatnot. So that's the General Social Survey. We'll be looking at it in just a minute. What we're looking at here, this window, is SPSS. And what you'll do to open a similar file to this is, you need to be at a computer that's got SPSS installed. So either you've installed SPSS on your laptop and you click the file from there then, or you click on the file and open it on one of the campus computers. Because it won't open if you don't have SPSS installed. So once you open SPSS or open this this data file, you'll see two windows here. There's the data view and the variable view. Data view is where you can see your actual data. So here under data view, each row represents one person that was surveyed. And sometimes it's helpful to look back and forth between views of the data. Well, let me get to that in just a minute. So if you look at the variable view, this gives you a list of the variable names. And here, if we scroll down, we can see how many there are. So over 750 here. So the first thing we see here is, for the first variable, the name of the variable is WRK stat. The variable names are limited in what characters they can have. They can't have spaces in them, for example. So to give it a more descriptive name, that's what the label is for. Okay, so work stat is the name of the variable, but the label is easier to understand. So labor force status. If you look under values, the values of the variable tell you how they're coded. So we said before in one of the previous videos that a lot of times something that's nominal or ordinal is still coded numerically. And that's what this is. So working full-time here represents 1. Working part-time is 2. You'll see IAP a lot. IAP just means inapplicable. It's similar to not applicable. It's just a matter of IAP is if the researcher, the person doing the survey, decided not to ask the question for whatever reason. So that's our values. Missing observations, they've got, if the data is missing because the person refused to answer the question or for whatever reason, anything that's a 0 or a 9 is just coded as missing. One other thing here, where it says measure, you'll see that they try to list the type of the measurement level it is, nominal, ordinal, scale, and there's some others. You cannot go by that though. There are examples in here that I could find where they don't line up. So on the homework, when I ask you to find a variable that is nominal level, you can't just go looking through here for a variable that says nominal. So by the way, under data view, it sometimes is helpful to look at what the codes are. So these are the codes for work status, 1s, 2s, etc. If you go to view value labels, you can see what those codes are. And sometimes it's nice to do that. All right, so the first thing I'm going to ask you to do in the homework is choose a nominal or ordinal variable. So I'm going to find one. So R's health in general. R stands for respondent. So anytime you see that. So I'm going to ask you for the variable name, which is health1, for the variable label, which is R's health in general. And then for the value labels here are, and I don't really care about the IAP, are excellent, very good, good, fair, and poor. And then don't know, no answer. So this is going to be an ordinal variable. Now with that data, just so we get a little bit of practice, I'm going to ask you to find a frequency table. To get the frequency table, you just go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Frequencies, and then we just go find that variable. And it's R's health in general. By the way, I wish there was a way to search for this, but there's not. And so sometimes the hardest part is actually finding the data finding the variable you're looking for. So if we take this variable, arrow over to the right, click OK, we'll get a window pop up that gives us output. So here's our output. This tells us these are the values, and then these are the frequencies. So there were 304 people in the data set that said they had excellent health. And that represents 7.9% of all of the data. The rest of it, I'm not so interested in. All right, so that's the first thing. Once you get this, I'm going to ask you to paste it into your homework. So to do that, we're going to right-click, copy as, EMF seems to work. So copy as EMF. And we're going to go over to our Word document and Control-Alt-V, Enhanced Metafile. Click OK, and it'll do that. If you have trouble copying and pasting, you can just do a screenshot and paste it into your homework that way. And that goes for throughout the semester if you ever have a hard time copying and pasting output from this or from StatCrunch later on. Just do a screenshot. All right, so that's the first one. The second one is I'm going to ask you to do the same thing, but with an interval or a ratio level variable. There actually aren't that many of those in this data set, so you kind of have to look for them a little bit. But I want to look at the variable right below health in general, which is the days of poor physical health the person has had in the last 30 days. So what I want you to do on that is just a basic descriptive statistics, and I'll show you how to do that right now. So analyze descriptive statistics, and let's go to explore. Analyze descriptive statistics, explore. And let's go find our variable. And it's going to take me just a minute to find it. Well, I'm not finding it, so here's a different one. Total dollar value of payments in the year of the most recent performance-based payments. So if we take our variable, we just move it over to the right in our dependent list. The only thing we want here is the statistics, not the plots. So we'll just pick statistics, click OK. And if you look at the output here, I'm going to ask you, just because we haven't gotten very far today, it's so far in the course, we haven't talked about, I know you know what the mean is, but we haven't talked about any of this other stuff. But I'm just going to ask you to tell me the minimum and the maximum. So somebody said they got $1 in performance-based pay last year, and the highest was $500,000 somebody said they got in performance-based pay. A little jealous. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. Right click here, copy as EMF, and then come over here, Control-Alt-V, enhanced metafile. And we seem to be good. All right, so there's only one more thing I need to tell you, and that's that the data set that I have up on my computer, you're not actually going to see that. You're not going to see all of these. When you open the file that I'm posting for you, I have to give you an abbreviated version. That's because a lot of you are using the student version of SPSS, which is limited only to 50 variables and 1,500 cases. So you won't have as many variables as we're looking at. All right, so that's it. And of course, let me know if you have any questions.